a look at select highlights from the Don Bonser US Coin Variety Showcase auction. Not only is the 1983 double die reverse Lincoln cent an absolutely fantastic variety from the series, but it is also a rare example of a coin where the reverse of the coin is affected instead of the obverse. Almost every aspect of the reverse is affected by the doubling also, from the denomination to the lettering around the rim, from the memorial building as well, but the clearest place to see the effect would be the letters of E pluribus unum. This coin was graded by Anox as MS64 red, and at auction it sold for $504. The first Jefferson dime to be discussed here is the 1950 D double die reverse dime, a great example of something that is almost never talked about: partial hub doubling, where at least in this particular case, the initial hubbing was actually incomplete. Here, the doubling is best displayed on the left of the handle of the torch, and because this is the result of rotated hub doubling, the top right of the torch is also similarly affected. The stems of both the olive and oak branches are both also doubled quite satisfactorily. The coin was graded here by PCGS as MS65 and was sold at auction for no less than $552. One of the most popular, and certainly I would say one of the most heavily promoted varieties in the Franklin $half series would have to be the so-called Bugs Bunny coins. In reality, these appear on multiple dates and are the result of obverse die clash marks, where the small feathers of the reverse eagle towards the right of the Liberty Bell were impressed onto the obverse during a die clash, leaving marks below Franklin's mouth, giving the impression of a pair of protruding front teeth, like Bugs Bunny, or even, in some cases, as with the coin here, under the nose. Graded by PCGS as MS64 with full bell lines, this Bugs Bunny Franklin half was sold at auction for $630. Finding a major variety on a large coin like a silver dollar is always an exciting prospect. In that vein, this 1922 earring variety is rightfully listed in the top 50 piece dollar varieties with good reason. A die break on the obverse is placed diagonally just towards the right of Liberty's jawline and up across her hair, giving the appearance of a dangling earring, hence the popular name of this variety. The piece dollar VAM remains a very popular coin with collectors, and as a result, this coin, graded as PCGS MS63, was sold at auction for the amount of $840. And speaking of varieties on silver dollar coins, a great example of the double die reverse Morgan dollar coin would be this 1900 VAM 16 type. This coin, which is also known as the doubled olive or two olive reverse type, where there is doubling to quite a few of the reverse design elements, including the inside of the O in of. But the main feature and place of interest is without any doubt the almost fully doubled olive towards the left of the eagle's talon. This coin, one of the so-called Hot 50, was graded by PCGS with a grade of MS65 and was sold at auction for $780. The 1938 D Buffalo Nickel makes for fertile hunting grounds for both variety collectors and coin searchers alike, with a plethora of overmint mark and repunched mint mark examples to look for. The current coin is one of half a dozen or so overmint mark types that are known, with perhaps admittedly not the clearest, although it does appear that this is a D over S variety upon closer scrutiny. The chief hallmark of this particular variety, however, that you would want to keep an eye out for, is what remains of the lowest serif of the initial S inside the cavity of the D mint mark, just towards the left, as indicated here. This coin was graded by PCGS as MS67, and at auction it changed hands for the sum of $930. And now for a Washington Quarter variety that seems to be finally attaining some of the well-deserved recognition that has escaped it in previous years, despite the fact that it has been known to experienced collectors for decades past. The so-called 1943 S Goiter variety suffered a very peculiar die deformation that led to the details of Washington's mouth and chin all but being erased. Simultaneously, the area just below the jaw was sunken and the Adam's apple is buckled upwards. The current example of this very rare variety was graded as NGC MS66, and when the auctioneer's gavel fell on this lot, it had sold for $1,080. The final Jefferson nickel to appear on this list is now up for discussion. This time it is a beautiful example of the 1953 S over S repunched mint mark nickel, very similar in nature to the 1952 and 1954 S over S varieties of the same description both, in that the initial S mint mark, or at least what remains of it after the repunching, can be detected towards the northwest of the final impression, primarily the top loop of the S, with a few other more minor remnants of the first punching remaining inside the protected areas of the S mint mark as well. The coin was authenticated by PCGS with a grade of MS67, making it the undisputed Pop 1 coin in the census report, and at auction, that fact reflected in the final sale price of $1,200. While the 1961 Franklin half-dollar coin has one major variety, there are also a number of more minor varieties. One such is the current double die reverse example, which displays pivoted hub doubling with a clear clockwise rotation. Primarily, this can be seen on the letters of E pluribus unum, where the doubling is displayed towards the left of the letters. Further doubling can then also be seen towards the tips of the eagle's tail feathers. Oh, and it should also be noted that this is a variety found in the proof version of the coin and not the regular business strike version. This coin was graded as PCGS Proof 68, and by auction's close, it had changed hands for $2,040. The 1969 Denver Washington Quarter has three repunched mint mark varieties of note. The coin seen here is of the FS 502 variety, where the D was repunched due east of the initial impression. This leaves a remnant of that first striking directly towards the west of the upright bar of the D, almost completely parallel to the final impression. This is a variety that is known to have been discovered in 1969 mint sets, so be sure to check yours as well. This example was graded by PCGS as MS66, and at auction it managed to raise a total of $2,640. Another Kennedy half-dollar is now up for display. This time we have one of the 1964 coins, specifically an example of the Denver minted 1964 D triple die obverse Kennedy half. On this coin, the doubling, well, tripling really, as it may be, can be best identified on the letters of We Trust, where you can look towards the south of most of the letters to see the additional impressions. This point is the hallmark of this particular variety. However, further, albeit somewhat less remarkable doubling is also to be found on the date, the motto, and the L and TY of Liberty. This coin was graded by PCGS as MS66 and at auction saw a closing price of $4,400. Subscribe to WNN and remember to activate notifications with the bell icon so you'll know when new videos are released. For the World Numismatic News, I am Numisman saying thank you for watching, stay safe, keep collecting, and have a fantastic day.